I left Afghanistan in September 2021 on a US military transport. I came with my sister. I came with one of my sister, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins. Yeah. After our flight, after our flight, for 5 months, we moved from one military base to other military base. We arrived in Michigan in January 2021. Some nice people at Cranbrook Church were looking for an immigrant to help. They contact organizations, submitters, who introduce us. They help us with things like finding housing. Yeah. Everything here was so hard because I knew a little English. Yeah. It was difficult to do things like shop and go to the doctor, and I'm shy. And the language barrier made that worse. I got a job in inventory at an automotive supplier. I was hard to speak to my boss and co-workers. Then I found Oakland Literacy Council. My sister was referred to them, and I drove her to their office. Stuart, who works there, she asked me if I would like to learn more English. In January 2022, I started meeting with Anne and learning English. Yeah, when I got sick, she came to see several doctors with me because I had trouble understanding.
Enam made progress in English so quickly. We used an online learning curriculum called Burlington English. We never had to repeat or review anything. No matter how complicated the grammar or spelling lesson was, once he mastered it in our session, he never forgot it. And the reason he made progress so quickly is that Enam is just so dedicated and a really hard worker. Every week, in addition to the homework I piled upon him mercilessly, he would watch hours and hours of YouTube videos on YouTube about English instruction, and then come to me with a list of questions from these other courses that he had taken. Enam was so shy when we first met that practicing conversation was very difficult because he was so reluctant to speak more than 2 consecutive words. Now he chats comfortably with me, and I've been so pleased to learn that he has an amazing sense of humor and he's fun to talk to. I encouraged him to take lots of extra opportunities to practice. We went out to eat. We went on field trips together to the Detroit Institute of Arts and the Detroit Zoo. Despite his shyness, Enam volunteered to work a shift at Bookstop, which is a used book sale that is a tremendous fundraiser for Oakland Literacy Council. When Enam left Afghanistan abruptly on one of the evacuation flights, he had to leave without any documentation of his education. So in March of this year, we started preparing him for the GED exam so he could pursue higher education opportunities. Enam wanted to start his GED prep with the math section, and I initially thought that was just fine. But then I rapidly became stunned to realize that I would be teaching things I hadn't thought about for 4 years ago. Like quadratic equations, and complex 3-dimensional shapes. Wow. I think Enam and I actually taught each other, because after a while, whichever of us got through a complicated problem first had to teach the other one how they got through it. So it worked out really well. It actually was fun after the initial pain. I also realized that the GED was geared toward very fluent English speakers. Most of the elaborate math story problems, and I think many of you will remember those story problems from math class, they assume a great deal of English vocabulary. For instance, Enam was getting quite good at geometry when they provided a diagram. But one day he was struggling with a fairly simple problem, describing the angle formed when a ladder was leaned against a garden shed. Well, eventually I realized that he had never come across the words shed or ladder, so he had no idea what the problem wanted him to solve. So while we're working on the math, social studies, and science sections of the GED, it's still so much about learning English.
Everything in America is so much easier since I have learned more English. I can now shop, go to a shop, order in restaurants, communicate peer-to-peer at work, and I can go to the local on my own. My goal is to pursue higher education and a career in information technology. Oakland Literacy also helped me get into a Google course. I got certified and tech support fundamental. Next, I need to get my GED, then start taking college classes. We started preparing for the GED in September, in March, and in September I passed the math part. Preparing was really hard, but Anne helped me a lot. I felt so proud when I passed. I'm now trying to get a job at Amazon. Yeah. That will give me a more flexible work schedule, so I have more time to work on my GED and then take classes. Before Oakland Literacy Council, I never would have had the language skill and the confidence to get a new job on my own.
When I started working with Enam, I got far more than a student. I got a great friend. Enam is kind, smart, thoughtful, funny, and a real pleasure to spend time with. I hope we'll stay friends long after he meets Oakland Literacy Council.
I really appreciate you. I know I found such a nice person in the world. Now she is my mom.